Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are diving into some absolutely fascinating biological miracles that happen when we just stop looking at hunger as this uncomfortable thing to avoid and start using it as our ultimate tool for deep rest and cellular repair. Seriously, it's a complete paradigm shift in how we think about eating, resting, and recovering.
So think about your own mornings for a second. Do you ever get a solid 8 hours of sleep, maybe even more, and still wake up feeling completely wiped out? You're dragging yourself out of bed, practically needing an IV of coffee just to function. Well, if you wake up tired despite getting a full night's rest, the culprit might not be your mattress, and it might not be stress. It might actually be your dinner keeping your internal organs working the night shift. Because when you eat right before bed, your organs just don't get to sleep when you do.
So here's our roadmap for today. We'll be covering the mistake of sleeping full, the magic of mild hunger, the trap of 3 meals, autophagy, and 16-hour fasting, and finally, how you can actually start fasting today.
All right, let's jump right into part 1, the mistake of sleeping full.
Get this, based on Ministry of Health data over in Japan, about 12% of people aged 15 and older are eating dinner after 9 p.m. And for folks in their 40s and 50s, the prime of their working lives, that percentage is even higher. Between work, commuting, and social stuff, dinner just gets pushed later and later. But eating this late, it completely derails your sleep metabolism. You might be totally unconscious in bed, but biologically speaking, your body is wide awake, frantically trying to process that late meal.
There was actually a randomized trial that compared eating dinner at 6 p.m. versus 10 p.m., and the differences were wild. When you eat late, your blood sugar spikes, and your body pumps out a ton of insulin. That insulin basically tells your body, hey, store this energy as fat, and it actively shuts down your fat-burning process. So you're left with high insulin, stored fat, and totally overworked organs. It literally slams the brakes on your body's nighttime cleanup crew, blocking the growth hormone that's supposed to repair your body. You're essentially robbing yourself of your own natural recovery.
Which brings us perfectly to our second point, the magic of mild hunger.
Here's where it gets super interesting. Let's talk about growth hormone. When your stomach is just a little bit empty, your blood sugar and insulin levels stay completely stable. And that stability, that's the secret key that unlocks the release of growth hormone. Now, this isn't just some hormone for teenagers trying to hit a growth spurt. It's your body's #1 fatigue recovery and anti-aging tool. It gets released most powerfully right after you drop into deep non-REM sleep. So when your insulin is low because you're mildly hungry, this hormone goes to town, repairing muscles, rebuilding bone density, even creating fresh collagen for your skin. It's the ultimate biological reset button. But it only fully activates if you aren't busy digesting a heavy dinner.
And wait, it gets better. Your brain gets a massive upgrade too. Going to bed mildly hungry actually boosts BDNF, which is a crucial brain nutrient that helps repair and grow new nerve cells, meaning sharper memory and focus for you the next day. But maybe the craziest part is that an empty stomach lets your brain's glymphatic system work at maximum efficiency. Think of the glymphatic system like a high-powered dishwasher for your brain. While you sleep, it literally washes away these toxic beta-amyloid proteins that build up during the day. And that's huge because those are the exact proteins heavily linked to Alzheimer's disease. When your body isn't distracted by digesting food, this whole brainwashing process is just incredibly smooth and effective.
Okay, moving on to number 3, the trap of 3 meals.
We've all been told forever that we need 3 square meals a day, right? Well, historically speaking, that's actually a pretty modern invention. Before the Edo period in Japan, for instance, eating just 2 meals a day was the standard. The whole 3-meal routine was introduced way later, and honestly, there's zero scientific proof saying it's the absolute healthiest way for humans to eat. Biologically, our internal organs just haven't adapted to this constant, never-ending influx of food. Because we're eating from morning till night, our liver and our gastrointestinal tract are just exhausted. They're forced to work nonstop with absolutely zero time to rest and repair.
And when you actually crunch the numbers, the problem is glaring. An average adult needs roughly 1,800 to 2,200 kilocalories a day. But think about what we actually eat now. A fast food burger, fries, and a soda, that easily clears 1,000 calories. A heavy pasta dish out at a restaurant, there's another 1,000. By just eating 3 standard modern meals, we can so easily push our caloric intake to 1.5 or even 2 times what our body actually needs. All that surplus energy forces our organs into overdrive, rapidly storing the excess as visceral fat, which is exactly what leads to metabolic diseases.
But it's not just the calories, it is heavily about the carbs.
An adult really only needs about 170 grams of carbohydrates a day, but a single bowl of rice packs about 50 grams. So just 3 bowls of rice across your 3 meals pretty much maxes you out. Add in a sugary drink, maybe a dessert, or just the hidden sugars and processed foods, and boom, you are instantly in the danger zone. 3 meals a day rapidly forces our bodies into a state of carbohydrate overload, and that causes these severe blood sugar spikes, which lead directly to fatigue, mood swings, and that awful mid-afternoon crash in concentration.
So what's the fix? That brings us to Section 4, autophagy and 16-hour fasting.
The real scientific answer lies in a biological process called autophagy. It's a bit of a mouthful, but when you create a fasting window of at least 16 hours, your body triggers this incredible mechanism. Autophagy is basically your body's internal cellular recycling program. When there's no new energy coming in from food, your cells start looking inward for fuel. They hunt down old, degraded proteins and damaged mitochondria, break them all down, and then use those raw materials to build fresh, brand new, highly functional cells. This discovery was actually so groundbreaking, it won the 2016 Nobel Prize in Medicine. By fasting for 16 hours, you are literally rejuvenating your organs, your brain, and your blood vessels from the inside out. And because autophagy clears out all that cellular junk and decreases free radicals, it is genuinely the ultimate anti-aging method. I mean, think about it. People spend thousands of dollars on expensive skincare routines, chemical peels, exotic supplements, all trying to look younger and feel better. But fasting? It slows down the aging process entirely for free. Actually, scratch that. It actually saves you money on food while you're doing it. You get a younger, healthier body simply by giving it the time and space to heal itself.
All right, let's get practical with our final section, how to start fasting today.
You might be thinking, 16 hours? No way. But it's actually way easier than you'd think, especially because you use your sleep to do the heavy lifting. The most practical way to pull this off is what we call the 4-8-4 method. Here's how simple it is. Step 1, stop eating 4 hours before you go to sleep. Step 2, sleep for 8 hours. Step 3, just skip breakfast and wait 4 hours after waking up before you have your first meal. That perfectly adds up to 16 hours. By doing this, your stomach is completely empty while you sleep, which absolutely maximizes that growth hormone release and that brainwashing glymphatic process we talked about earlier.
Now look, if you're just starting out, maybe testing the waters on a weekend, the hunger might feel a little distracting. Totally normal. But don't worry, you don't have to suffer through it. If you really need a quick fix, you can use these low-carb rescue foods, raw vegetables, plain nuts, some cheese, or unsweetened yogurt. Because these specific foods are super low in carbohydrates, they won't cause a massive insulin spike, meaning they won't interrupt that amazing autophagy process. You can gently take the edge off your hunger while keeping your cellular recycling system running perfectly smoothly.
Since this one simple lifestyle tweak repairs your cells, protects your brain, and literally melts away fatigue entirely for free, it really makes you rethink your daily routine, doesn't it? As this quote perfectly sums up, there is no better, more cost-effective anti-aging method than simply creating time to be hungry. So I'll leave you with this, knowing that your body is absolutely desperate for a break to heal and rejuvenate itself. What is stopping you from giving your digestive system a well-deserved vacation tonight?